So the night of the big fire, the night of the Millvale Studios disaster, I made it back and I was across bar 3 and my friend asked me if I'd like a shot and I took a shot of Fireball.
Appropriate.
I'm here with Tara Molesworth. I'm also here with Jenny Sines, who were both affected in one way or another by the fire. And it was a really interesting last few days because I am at that studio all the time, and as I said to a few friends, I sleep on Grant Avenue, but I lived in Millvale Studios, and it was the place I went to after work every day, and I ended up going home, and it just felt so or where I sleep, and it felt so unnatural and so awkward and so confusing, and it took a lot of time to adjust to going home after work instead of going to work after work. But we did not miss a single show. I was determined the night of the fire. I said, tomorrow morning we will broadcast at 9 a.m. And then my alarm didn't go off, so we broadcasted at 9:30 a.m.
Nice.
But we did broadcast Tuesday morning. So I am Brian Crawford. I am Pittsburgh's moral compass. My compass has not been altered. It has not been funked up in the flames. No, it is still pointing north and pointing straight, so stay tuned. I will guide you along the way. You're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, broadcasting local original music every day, all day at riversedgepgh.com. I want to say thank you to so many people who reached out to us. First off, thanks to the fire department for everything that they've done, as I've expressed it in a few different media outlets, just an unbelievable job by them. But also a thank you to the business community. So many different businesses have reached out to us and offered me a place to record. We're here in a temporary location right now, thanks to Mike Speranzo and Liz Berlin. We're looking for a permanent move, and we've got some things in the works for that as well. But Amy Enrico of Tazadora offered us a place. Kevin Safner of James Street reached out to us. Jeff Holt of Ham Bones. So many different people. Nova Cafe, they let us perform the next day at their diner. So just so many amazing business owners that have reached out to us. And it really is just something special. So thank you to all of those wonderful, wonderful people. It's really just awesome to be a part of this community. Oh, also the music community as well. A lot of people in the music community, different bands have reached out, said that we'll do whatever we need to help you rebound and get your space up and going, whatever we need to do to raise money, anything like that. So really just an awesome community. And it's interesting to see how many people will come out and support you in a situation like that. So we've got an interesting show today. We have two people here who were affected by the fire in one way or another. One person from actually being in the fire, and another for being a business owner that is displaced by the fire. So we have some interesting stories there as well. We also have some weird news. We have a new kind of pudding that you'll want to learn about. And just watch the cord there. New kind of pudding you want to learn about. Nature's castration and the zombie begotten son. All of that in the weird news segment of the story. So, and also, are you an asswipe? That's the question of the day. Do you use ass wipes when you take a shit? Personally, there's nothing more pleasurable than wiping yourself off with a throwaway moist towelette. It's really something. It's much better than the dry, rough feel of a paper towel.
Have you ever tried a bidet?
No, but I feel like that would be wonderful.
You can buy one for your personal toilet.
I would buy one for this toilet.
Okay,
I don't really.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do poop at home, so that is one thing I do besides sleep.
Well,
but I poop here more than I poop at home, so I feel like it might be more. But then again, I have to
so you carry those with you? Is that what you've just
No, I
revealed
bought
to
it
us?
for the studio. So I want to know, are you an asswipe? You can message us on Facebook, on the Facebook Live page if you're on Facebook, or you can tweet me at RiverTalkPGH. Do you use ass wipes? Are you an ass wipe? Would you be willing to convert to ass wipes? Would you be willing to give ass wipes a chance? That's the question on today's show, so I want to hear your thoughts as well. The fire, it was a big situation. I was in and out of that place. I was like, they finally came out and said that it wasn't arson, which I knew it wasn't, but like I felt like I was the prime suspect because I was the last one to leave the building
before asked you a lot of questions.
Yeah, before the fire actually started. I'm like, look, we don't even have renter's insurance, man. Like, I get nothing out of this. Like, I only have to lose. My equipment smells like it was in some oven, so there's nothing that there's nothing that was beneficial about that fire towards the network. So
taking me out.
Yeah, that would have been, oh my god, we would have.
Oh, you wouldn't have wanted that.
We would have. No, I'm saying we would have fallen apart. Like that would have been like awful. So. No, but luckily we're still here. I know somebody's mic is a little odd. Might be mine, but let's see. I don't know.
I think it's mine.
It's just don't tap the cord if you can. All right. Again, we are here on the fly in the studio, just trying to make things work. So, but yeah, thank you to Mike and Liz for allowing us to use the space. It's definitely awesome. So. Moving right along, we're going to bring Tara in right after the break. We're going to talk about your experience in the flames, in the fire, dodging the candlelight.
Can't wait. Yeah, it was a little candle.
Yes. Sounds terrifying, but that's going to be an interesting story. We have that coming up. Really, it's a mind-blowing story, how everything worked out. And honestly, this fire, as much as it was a disaster and terrifying, it was not that the fire was a blessing, but the way everything fell into place was very, very miraculous, really. So we've got that story, what really happened inside the flames, right after the break, here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music, The River's Edge. And I'm right here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music. See if it works this time. Ah, there we go. The River's Edge.
I was smoking in the sunshine on a clear blue summer's day. I didn't know where the heck I was, but I thought I knew the way to the fucking
Hey, it's Mike Sasson. Guess what? You used to love us at 10. You're going to love us even more at 9. It's me. It's Alex. It's funniness. It's guests. It's all sorts of me yelling into microphones only 1 hour earlier. It's exactly what you need at 9 o'clock. It's like a shot of adrenaline. It's the Mike Sasson Show, now starting at 9 o'clock on Tuesday on the River's Edge.
Welcome back, asswipes, to the River's Edge Radio Network. Mark has said that his boss is an asswipe. Does your boss use asswipes? That's the question. Are you willing to use asswipes, Mark, if given the opportunity? I guarantee you it is a better experience than the hard, rough feel of a paper towel, or I guess it's a toilet paper. You wouldn't use a paper towel. That would probably clog up the toilet, then your plumber is going to be angry with you. So right now we have Tara Molesworth here, and she was dodging flames on her way outside of Millvale Studios. But seriously, like, that was that a traumatic experience? I imagine.
I think I'm still processing it.
I'm sure.
It's been less than a week, and I still, I don't really know still what happened or what caused the fire or why the fire alarm didn't go off. So kind of until I have those questions answered, I don't know.
Well, we have
how I'm going to feel.
Let me see if I can pull this up here on the video. We actually have pictures of some of the fire alarms, because I had wondered, like, were there enough up there? Were there enough fire alarms? And it turns out that he had put in, the building manager, double what was required, or what he was told to put in, but they all, like, melted. They didn't go off.
Yeah.
And here we have a picture of what the fire alarms look like. If you're on Facebook, you can see these fire alarms and how they were melted just to the ground. And apparently one of them went off eventually.
Yeah, I think I heard something once we were outside.
Yeah, but it was too late. But there's a question as to why these fire alarms did not go off. Is there an issue with the manufacturer? And I think that is something we need to get to the bottom of, because
I can also say that when we were in the building with the fire, there was no visible smoke. And, like, there's always smoke and debris when there's fire, of course, but it was just burning cleanly. And so not all alarms work the same way or are activated by the same things. So it could have just been there was no detectable smoke.
Wow. What was it?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was it like in there? What was the experience like? What did you see? How did that scenario play out?
Well, I heard the fire first, and I knew it was a fire. And then I poked my head out the door, knowing what I was going to see, but just kind of ready to see the whole scope of it. And it was just like a column of fire in the center of the room, pretty much. Like,
you said it was like a column, like
30
it didn't
feet away.
move. It's weird.
Yeah, it didn't spread sideways at all. I think it only spread over the ceiling, actually.
If you look at the actual, like, there's a picture of it, you could see it's weird. It did seem to stay in one spot.
Yeah, so that's what I saw. Like when I looked out of the studio door, it was just like in this box, basically, and was just something black and rectangular.
Why do you think it stayed in that box?
I think the spark fell from the ceiling and it landed right in that box, and it was like a plywood container, basically, like covered on 3 sides, and so I could the front was open, and I just saw like whatever was ignited in there was just a big rectangle of black. I don't know what it was. It was like newspaper or something, but like there wasn't like embers or anything like that. It was just like fuel source burning, and then this tall orange fire with no smoke going all the way up to the ceiling.
Any kind of faith or anything like that?
Well, the fire wasn't talking to me at the moment, but it has been talking to me from the past.
But I just mean like the fact that it stayed in that one location and it didn't move, that just seems so abnormal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the physics of it makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know. My cat died a few days earlier, and so I thought of my cat. Maybe he saved us from it, but it was really fucked up.
How hot was it when you were in the actual studio?
I don't remember feeling hot at all.
Okay.
I don't remember feeling hot at all. And I like ran past it a couple times because I would end up, I don't know if I told you this, but I went back into the building because I didn't know where Erica was.
Oh, okay.
So I ran all the way, I was out on the street, and then I ran all the way back into the studio to get her because I guess she didn't know how bad it was based on what I had told her, you know. But yeah, and so then like I don't know, it was just kind of doing its thing and crackling away, and I guess for 10 minutes it had been reaching probably closer and closer to the ceiling, and there was no smoke until it hit the ceiling, and we were outside by that point. And then it filled with smoke in about 2 minutes, the entire building.
Wow.
Black. And so like you had alluded to, like everything kind of lined up really well, and it could have gone a lot of other bad ways, because we had been recording for 2 hours with the door locked, with headphones on, like playing loud music together. And so if the door weren't open, if we had started recording a little bit later, if we had done things in a different order and the door were closed and like I didn't hear the fire and the smoke started, you know, we got out of there 2 or 3 minutes in time before the smoke started, like there wouldn't have necessarily been a way for us to get out.
Yeah, one little thing could have been different.
Yeah, or the fire could have spread.
Yeah.
And
well, did you see the exit sign near the back door? So there's an exit sign. Which
they said it was like 1,000 degrees at the cooler point. You know, like it was burning real hot.
There was a plastic exit sign near the back rear door, which was pretty far from where the actual fire was, and it had completely melted into nothing.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what would have killed us first.
There's so many ways that could have spread.
Yeah.
And things that it could have caught. It was really hot because there were some things at the front of the studio that had also melted that were as far away from the fire as it could be.
Well, it was like really bizarre because not only did like a series of circumstances happen that allowed you guys to get out of there, but then even when we made it back into the studio, we had a ceiling of all of these local CDs. And we had a TV in the front door. Almost all of the CDs, except for the ones in the very, very far back, had completely melted. Some of them looked like they actually like froze while like in mid-drip in the air.
Did you save those?
They're still in the studio.
Oh, okay.
We haven't taken anything down. But they had all been destroyed. Freaky. Yeah, the TV was
I wish I had
warped.
Closed the door. I didn't close the door when I left, and maybe then no damage would have happened.
Doesn't matter.
Neither,
I mean, you know what I mean? Like
the
most important thing is that you got out. So
yeah.
I would, yeah, that's more important than closing the door. No, but it's just my point is all of these CDs were warped. The TV had a little bit of warping. This camera, actually, that we're broadcasting on, even though it works, it's a little disfigured. But all of this equipment still works to at least some level.
It's amazing.
Where we're able
it
to
was
still
some pretty
record.
thick smoke, too.
And with as hot as it
Got in
was,
there.
with the exit sign literally melting to nothing,
Yeah.
like, what are the odds that this would work?
I don't know.
I mean, it's just like, it was just such a weird grouping of circumstances that just doesn't really even seem to make much sense.
Yeah.
If you could have a good fire, it was a good...
This was the one.
It was like the best formula
Scenario.
for what
Yeah, I
could
feel
have
very
happened.
lucky.
Me too.
That, like, my near-death experience was... I didn't get hurt at all.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I got hurt. Yeah.
When you ran past the fire, like what was going through your mind?
Oh man, I looked right into it, is what I did.
Whoa.
And it was just calculation after calculation happening really fast in my head. And so I just knew that we had to get out of there and we had to call. There was nothing that we could do. I knew that there was no fire extinguisher that I knew of. And I was just glad we were all out of there. And then once we were out, like the waiting, after you call the police, after you call the fire department, you're like helpless on the street watching this building burn, and like that the risk is still very real. So that was a bad moment, bad memory, I guess. Yeah.
And you were there for quite some time afterwards. Was it agonizing waiting for things to kind of wrap up?
No, it went really felt like no time at all. We got out of there at like 7:45, 7:50, and then we left like close to 11 was when the fire truck started to leave. And like Erica's car was like parked right in front of the thing, and like so we were waiting until we could go back in the building to get our stuff and then leave. But no, it felt like no time at all. And you guys bought us beer and food,
Yeah. Well,
and it was.
It's kind of interesting because you've got two different mindsets going there where you were on an adrenaline rush because you just ran out of a burning building.
Yeah.
So time was probably moving quickly for you. On my side, it seemed like it lasted forever because you're there and everyone's okay, but then you're thinking what is my business going to do?
Yeah.
And you're waiting to get in to see if the equipment has survived or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
all
you're
the unknowns.
so it was like almost like it seemed like time was standing still.
I mean, I'm sure that's how all the artists felt too,
Oh,
and all
sure.
the people who, the building owners and such.
No, it was funny because I got the fireball shot, and it had nothing to do with the actual fire.
I had told Molly Alphabet, I'm like, just so you know, it's going to be really hot in the studio today.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you were not wrong.
Yeah, she's like, the fire marshal will be very interested to know this information, Tara.
No, but I got the fireball just because I actually typically don't like whiskey, and that's one of the only whiskeys I can tolerate. So I wasn't even thinking about the building across the street. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll just get my normal thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, gosh, yeah. It was really messed up, and that's kind of like the point that I want to drive home. It was really fucked up, and we almost died.
Did people reach out to you?
Yeah, because then they saw us on the news later, so like all kinds of random people were texting me over the next couple days, which was really nice. Just like glad that I was okay and that we were all okay. I don't think people knew that we were inside necessarily. I think people thought we were like that we worked there, and they were just asking us questions. But also we were recording. I didn't stop the recording when we left the building, so there's like, I can't wait to get on this computer and see if like the smoke fills the room and if that video is all still there, because there was music playing at the time, that we made. We were like looping on Erica's Chaos Pad at the time, and then that just continues to play until probably they cut the power. Is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So it'll be a pretty cool video.
Yeah.
If we can get it.
Interesting. Yeah. It's kind of like a footage that nobody else will have the opportunity to get.
Yeah. Executive produced by Fire.
How has this changed your life?
I think a sense of urgency in some way, right? Or like, I don't know. I think it's changed my life for the better. And I'm still, like I said, still kind of processing all of that. But yeah, I don't feel like traumatized.
Is there anything like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's any advice you can give to somebody in a situation like that.
Make sure that your fire system is up to code, and in your house or in any building that you're responsible for. That's my advice. Yeah. No one should die in a fire. When there's fire alarms, we know that they can work, and that they do work when they're working properly. So that was what I was I was enraged after we got out that no fire alarm went off, because the fire would have been burning for like 10 minutes before we were alerted to it. So
yeah, I'm just not sure. I just am kind of blown away as to like how it happened.
I know that Pittsburgh has recently been talking about, like in the last couple of years, mandatory sprinkler systems for all residential. So like in London, for example, if there were sprinkler systems in that building, like no one would have died, right? And said like pretty much everyone died.
Well, that situation was weird too, because they told people to stay in their rooms.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But a sprinkler system seems like the best way.
Yeah, it's a terrifying situation, but yeah, it's hopefully something none of us have to experience at any level. Obviously, you in a more direct level, but yeah, I can't even imagine what it would have been like going through there. I don't know if you had a chance to really look at any of the pictures from the aftermath. But
not really. I haven't seen into the studio. But no, I haven't. I haven't seen it.
Our studio, the River's Edge part of it,
looks normal.
Not normal, but not like the rest of it. The rest of it almost look. And the way I described it in an interview on the Tribune Review was that it was like a war zone. That's what it looked like. I mean, it was.
Molly said crispy. I didn't get to go back in the building.
Yeah,
but
it was really, really terrifying. But yeah, no, it's. I've been in there a few times. The thing that's so weird about going back in there is the smell. I don't know if you've been in there, Jenny, since, but it's so like you can actually smell it on this equipment a little bit. But this is so light compared to when you're in there. When you're in there, you can almost not breathe. Even days. It's been
just a creepy smell.
It's been a week now, even a week. So I was just there yesterday, and you could smell. It was so potent.
Yeah. The
smell of the fire that it's still there in that studio.
That's the first thing I noticed when I got back into Millvale. I was teaching at a different studio, and my phone started blowing up, like all these calls, relatives, and so I just put it on airplane. I said, "What is going on?" After I finished teaching my class.
Oh, they must have been so worried.
Yeah, I got the news, and of course I hang up on them too while they're trying to call. But the first thing I noticed when I got into Millvale was the smell. I couldn't see any smoke, I couldn't see any fire, but I could smell this real creepy plastic smell. And yeah, you can still smell that on a lot of the things that they recovered from the studio. Definitely my yoga mats. I tried to roll them out. I was like, oh, these survived the fire. Rolled them out. Oh, they just reek. Ugh.
Yeah, it's everything reeks. I was wearing this set of headphones to work for the last couple days because the studio was in shambles anyways. So I figured, what the hell, I'll just wear these to work because they're better than my headphones. And I almost got like sick from like smelling it nonstop because it was around your head. But you don't go to my job and not wear the headphones. But yeah, no, but it's still in the air. But we're gonna take a quick break. And when we come back, we have 3 weird stories to keep the Mod Monster at bay, and that's right around the corner here on the River's Edge.
Hey, listen up for some sweet pizza discounts. The River's Edge is partnering with Frank's Pizza and Chicken to offer you 10% off your ZA. That's short for pizza.
Seriously? ZA?
What?
Anyway, mention you heard this ad and Frank's will give you 10% off your order of $15 or more.
Oh my god, have you tried their famous buffalo chicken pizza?
No, don't even get me started. Can you name all 4 Frank's locations?
Millvale, obviously. Troy Hill, Shaler, and North Hills.
Gold star. Anyway, support the River's Edge Radio Network by ordering from Frank's Pizza and Chicken the next time you get hungry for some ZA. And don't forget to mention you heard this ad so you get your 10% off. Go to frankspizzachicken.com for more info.
Offer good for a limited time. Order mostly $15 or more before taxes. Cannot be combined with other discounts or offers. Other legal jargon and whatnot.
I am Pittsburgh's #1 weapon, your defense against the monster that lives in the rivers, terrorizing this city every week. And as always, I bring you not one, not two, but 3 weird stories to keep them on Monster at Bay, where I single-handedly save the city of Pittsburgh from total destruction by entertaining the beast with 3 weird stories. The first one, it's a new type of treat that you can get, and I'll be quite honest, instead of trying to sugarcoat it or explain it away, I'm just going to read this one sentence from the Huffington Post article. It says, "It's a coconut pudding shaped like a bowel movement."
Nice.
So you can eat a bowel movement, and to me, I don't want to...
There's so many shapes, though,
Yeah,
of a bowel movement.
this is true. There's a picture of this kid who's really unhappy because he is
Where do they make this? Where is this from?
eating. This is in Norway, I believe, and yeah, this kid is like really unhappy because of this bowel movement.
He's crying.
And he's crying. It is in
ridiculous.
Thailand. I'm sorry, it's in Thailand. Yeah,
Jesus.
This kid is so unhappy.
Is it yummy?
So I don't know what would be worse. I imagine they said it's a pudding, so I imagine it's like got that pudding texture. That would be my guess. So it says the reaction to this crappy-looking dessert has been so polarizing that one woman took it upon herself to do an instructional video on how to consume it. So you can look at the Huffington Post article to look at that video. So to me, I'm a little torn. I don't know what's worse. Is it the bowel movement shaped pudding, or is it the fact that it tastes like coconut? Because coconut is really foul, in my opinion. I do not like coconut.
Does it have coconut flakes in it?
I hope not. That makes it even worse. Real coconut's the worst. Ugh. So yes, there you go. You've got your bowel movement pudding.
That's truly weird.
And then when you've got to shit it out, you can wipe your ass with a moist towelette. So, again, who is an ass wipe in the audience? I want to know. Tara, are you an ass wipe? Would you consider being an ass wipe?
Totally.
Yeah, I think it's something. Jenny?
Definitely.
You're definitely an ass wipe?
Keep it clean.
Not swampy.
No swamp ass. This is like a cure for swamp ass right here. So,
Well,
you can...
it just makes you need more. Then you get swampy again, and then you need to... It's just a dangerous cycle.
I don't know. This seems like this would be the cure for swamp ass.
Okay.
Definitely would not cure wet socks. Only
Nothing
I
can
don't
cure
know.
wet sock.
Nothing can cure wet sock. Maybe this next story is an example of a way you could cure, well, not cure wet sock, but maybe if you cut off another part. Anyways, nature's been castrated. And there is an interesting... Oh, no, where did the article go? Oh, there it is. Okay, Norway, yes. So this happens in Norway. There is a rock that is said to look like a penis, an erected penis, and somebody cut the penis off.
Oh.
This also comes from the Huffington Post. Yeah, somebody cut the penis off, and Norway is pissed because they've been emasculated by some traveler who has destroyed the erected rock. So now we know, there was, they always called it Mother Earth. Maybe it's Papa Earth, yeah.
It's weird we both said
After
Papa.
this.
Why did we both say Papa?
So yes, there is a rock that had an erection, but now it's limp. So, story 3, okay, story 3 takes place in California. So we are coming back to the States here. 11 days, I'll just read this article, it's from Yahoo. It says, the Associated Press, 11 days after laying his son to rest, Frank Kerrigan got a call from a friend. He said, "Your son is alive." "Bill, put my son on the phone," Kerrigan said. He said, "Hi, Dad." So this guy had buried his son, apparently. He thought it was the wrong, or had a funeral for his son. He thought it was the wrong, or he got the wrong information, apparently. It says the mix-up began on May 6th when a man was found dead behind a Verizon store in Fountain Valley. Kerrigan, 82, said he called the coroner's office and was told the body was that of his son, Frank Kerrigan, 57, who is mentally ill and had been living on the street. So he thought his son was dead. And the reason why I wanted to end with this story is the funeral home here in Millvale, Han Funeral Home, they are going to be having a funeral apparently for a mannequin that was burned in the studio.
Oh, that's so nice.
As a fundraiser, yes.
I want to go.
Definitely stay tuned to the River's Edge for more information as that develops. So that is your weird news for the day. So, Jenny, you are a business owner.
I am.
And your main base of operations was in Millvale Studios.
It was.
It no longer is?
It no longer is. Whenever I first came to the scene last week on Monday, one of the first things that happened was my phone just started to explode with people looking for me, checking to see if I'm okay. But then people reaching out to say, hey, we're going to host your yoga classes here and there. So within an hour of discovering that the studio had burned down, classes were already, guerrilla yoga was being scheduled around Millvale. So that was really cool.
So the business community really reached out to you and lended a hand.
Yeah, they did. And my students, too. So Mark Panza will be having most of our classes at the Panza Gallery. And then at the Boys and Girls Club this week, thanks to Katie and Sue Getz.
Now, were you overwhelmed by the level of support that you received?
I was, and Bar 3 also reached out to me, and I had a little fundraiser for some things coming up in Millvale and Millvale Studios. But it was very... It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Mm-hmm. No pun intended. But yeah, it was really great to have just people immediately have your back.
Yeah. So you tell me about the Millvale Yoga Collective. What do you do? Who are you guys?
Well, we're a lot of your friends and peers. Just people who, not everybody is from Millvale, but a lot of us are. And we have 7 classes a week, and we just are trying to stay mindful and stay healthy and stay a strong little group, and we really are.
Did you have any fear that your business would not make it out of this fire?
I didn't even really have time to process it. It happened so quickly. Found that the studio was on fire, checked in, gave everybody a hug within the studio that was down there. And then within, I'm telling you, an hour, it was already scheduled to put my classes elsewhere. A little disheartening, of course, there's some things that are going to that I'll have to take care of and some things that I'll have to do. But the yoga definitely continued on. So
do you think in some ways, I know this sounds crazy, but do you think in some ways maybe this will even aid your business? I know it sounds terrible to say, but you get that extra publicity. People are thinking and talking about you.
I hope so, and I think that, and that goes for everybody within Millvale Studios. I think that, again, it was probably the best fire you could have because everybody walked out of there. Most things even survived the fire, other than the smell, some damage that we're going to have. But it's just an opportunity to rebuild and regrow an already really strong creative community. So I think just having a look at how so little was damaged in the scheme of things and how further ahead this is going to put us if we all just keep doing what we're doing, and that's working hard, being supportive, and just keeping the community alive.
How often were you in Millvale Studios? Were you there on a daily basis?
I was there 3 days a week, and then if we had events and fundraisers and things, we would be within the studio as well. So, but my main squeeze was Millvale Studios, and now we're just right behind it at Panza Gallery.
Did you feel any kind of sense of emptiness or loss when that building caught on fire?
Definitely. Just to see all the other artists' work. So, we're practicing yoga in the front. There's the gallery there, and then as you go back, you see all this work. So, it's definitely hard to be practicing Thursday at the Boys and Girls Club was wonderful, but you're just not home.
Mm-hmm. Why is that place great for yoga?
Millvale Studios?
Yes.
I think that the creative force in that is really just healthy for healing. And that's what you're doing with yoga. There's a lot of things that are going to happen whenever you're practicing yoga, but the healing that happens within your mind and in your body, and then just to be surrounded by all this creativity, again, a lot of art, maybe there's healing in that too. So it just, it's a really empowering space for practicing yoga.
How do you feel now in the aftermath?
A little overwhelmed now, just because there's definitely some things that we're going to have to do, keep it taken care of. I'm not sure if we'll keep Thursday nights at the Boys and Girls Club, but we're going to try. So a little overwhelmed now, just kind of picking up the pieces. But also very inspired and happy that we pretty quickly turned it around.
Do you feel excited to see
do.
the energy of the community that's come together? Because I know with the Business Association and the MCDC, there's so many efforts being made to raise money to bring back this building from people who have had, really, let's be honest, no real connection to the building. I don't even think some of these people have stepped foot in the building, but here they are standing up to try to bring it back.
Yeah, and we were trying to bring it back before it got on fire too, to just keep that a really strong and important place in Millvale, because it is. And then just to have that happen, I think actually, again, blessing in disguise, it'll launch us ahead, because now everyone's aware of Millvale Studios, hearing some of the stories that are happening within Millvale Studios, and then maybe they'll want to see that keep happening.
Did you make any new friends by being associated with Millvale Studios?
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that I will miss about that place until it gets, until it comes back, is you would run into these artists while you were there. You went to meetings with these artists, so you ended up building a relationship with them by just being in that room.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some really important people in my life that I care about very much. Hardworking, inspiring, met through Millvale Studios. Besides
an update and maybe the doors, so that way you don't need a key to come in and out, or not to come in rather, but to leave. What would you like to see changed?
The black carpet. So I love the carpet, actually. I think I was one of the only supporters of the carpet, because it's nice to practice yoga, but black is so hard to keep clean. And with the pottery store and all the footprints and things, I think black is probably not the best choice for an art studio.
So you would change the color?
I would.
Anything else?
I don't know. I guess I'll just have to see, to be in the space and not really think about changing it. We wanted to do some cosmetic things, make it a little bit prettier. So maybe it'll just be a little cleaner, but carpet, a new carpet for the new studio. And I just can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Tara, I bet you would like to change a few other things.
The bathroom also.
I didn't mind the bathroom.
I loved the bathroom. Actually, that was my favorite part
The
about
track
it.
back, sometimes I worried, like a nicer pathway,
Okay, well, that's true.
Yeah.
But I did love, the clown, and I loved the painting, and I loved all of that.
All the
Yeah.
drawing on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does the bathroom look? How does that whole back room...
I don't know. I haven't been in there, actually.
Yeah.
I never really walked into it to see.
I'm on this fire safety kick right now.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really know too much about grandfathering.
Well, now everything will be up, because when you do a big remodel like that, you have to change everything.
Yeah. It just seems like a lot of things are overlooked on a regular basis.
Is so ridiculous.
On a regular basis. I get it as far as money is concerned.
But
would you like to see some sort of
as far as safety...
Would you like to see some sort of grant program be available for people who can't afford to make those changes?
That's a great question. I don't know. We have to find a way to make all the buildings that we currently occupy up to modern code. Because there's a reason the code changes, because events happen and you learn from them, and materials change, and you find better ways to keep people safe. So I don't really, I don't know. Yeah. If money can be found, then that seems like a good thing to use it on.
Yeah. If you can lend me your mic, Jenny, just hold it this way so I can talk to you. We can both share it. So there are the two funniest comments, because you have to find humor in everything.
Yes.
And I found two very funny comments on Facebook that involved the fire. One of them actually came from a friend of mine, and you may know him. I don't know if you do. Andrew Laswell.
Nope.
He goes by Drew. No, he's a fantastic piano player, and he had posted about the studio, that we had the big banner that said Millvale Studios outside, and he goes, "Make everything inside out of that, because it survived the fire." Exactly. Well, there were two banners that we purchased that were in near the middle of the room, as close to the fire as you could get.
What the
And they are in perfect shape. You got to share the mic. They're in perfect shape, both of them. We've got the Millvale, it's upside down, but the Millvale Yoga Collective banner right here. We also had a River's Edge one. The plastic was kind of scorched, but the banner itself, both banners.
What is it, vinyl? What is that made out of?
Condition. I don't know, but like Andrew said, whatever it's made out of, we need to make the entire studio out of that. The other comment. It said in the news article from KDKA, because it was both in audio and print, and you just copied the print, where they said that it was an art studio with a yoga collective and a radio station in it. So he copied and pasted that. He goes, now that's what we call hot yoga.
Ha ha.
So those, in my opinion, those were the two funniest Facebook comments.
Cute.
So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, it is why I think the world is coming to an end. And that is right around the bend here on Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music, riversedgepgh.com.
Sky is looking great tonight, and the smokestack clouds, while the moon's blushing pale shades of white. And I cross the bridge to where the rivers meet, and they were built for you, to have you closer to me. To the railway lines, you're slurring on its lies, like I can always love you, but the timing's never right. And I cross the bridge to where the rivers meet, and they were built for you, to have you closer to me.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
This is not progress, this is distress. Oh, what a mess, what a big bloody mess. This is not a war, this is not a fair fight. This is not a window for you to see the light. This is not a battle, this is not a victory. This is not about the desert or the oil or being free. This is not a revolution when there is no solution. This is impossible to find a conclusion. I can't stand here and watch my world die.
So I don't know if the world is coming to an end or if the world is becoming a better place. because I went out today and I got McDonald's coffee Keurig cups, and damn is it good. McDonald's has frickin' good coffee, so I don't know if that's like the plague coming to Pittsburgh because McDonald's has really, really good coffee. Like, I will go to McDonald's over Starbucks any day. Or
I don't know, Brian.
The world is coming to a better place.
I'll have to taste it and see.
It's great. Their coffee is really, really good. I believe they use like the same company as like Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, I love Dunkin' coffee.
Exactly. Yeah. Now the big difference is like I think Dunkin' has more attention. They pay more attention to their coffee, so it's always like fresh and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they're a coffee place. That's their main thing. Yeah. So, but
I mean, and donuts too.
Sure. Yeah, donuts. But you know what? Like, did I ever tell you about the story when I went to Dunkin' Donuts and there weren't any donuts?
No.
Okay. So I go to Dunkin' Donuts. Learning that this microphone is kind of being a little particular.
You want to share?
No, it's good. I just have to talk to it in the right spot. So it's got
like
its
a
sweet
lady.
spot. Yes. So, anyways, I go to Dunkin' Donuts in Greensburg, and actually I was on my way to Eaton Park because that's what you did out in Westmoreland County. You went to Eaton Park, and I went out to Eaton Park. And before I went there, because I was meeting some friends, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go get some munchkins for tomorrow morning at Dunkin' Donuts. So I go in, and all of the shelves seem barren. And there was a lady who was foreign there, and the only reason why I say it is because it is what makes the story funny. So the shelves are barren, and I'm just kind of a little shocked, and I ask her, I say, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have any donuts?" And she turns around and she looks at me and she goes, "No, all done." And I was just
Did she eat them all?
I don't know. I doubt it because she was pretty thin. But I was so shocked. I didn't even get upset. I just literally stood up and I walked out the door. I couldn't be angry. I'm like, how do you get angry? I mean, it's so ridiculous that a place called Dunkin' Donuts had no donuts.
A good day at the donut shop.
Where do they make the donuts?
It depends. Like sometimes there's like a regional like not a regional, but like a Dunkin' Donuts that feeds like several.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make them in house. It depends.
Oh, I want a donut.
I know if you go to Kogo's, they pull them out of the freezer and heat them up. So if you go to Kogo's, you will get. I mean, they're good, but they are frozen. So. And I do know that. I used to work there, so.
You've worked all over.
I've worked many places, yes. So.
Is this your worst job? Your current full-time job?
No, I mean yes and no. There's good and bad to it. So, it's not bad. It's an easy job. It's just you have like no control over your schedule. So that's the part that's kind of.
Are you like Newman?
We'll talk about that at a later date. So, Jenny, what do you have going on for the Yoga Collective? What's up next for you?
Oh, there's quite a bit coming up with the Millvale Yoga Collective, but I would love to see everybody at Cousins Lounge this Thursday night. I'll be guest bartending, working to find some funds to empower the Millvale Studios and for an event we're having called Art and After Party, where you're going to see some live music and check out some artists on July 22nd. So we're going to raise funds for that. I might bust out the fire fans, maybe some jams too.
Yeah.
So.
Jenny also is a fire dancer. For those of you who do not know, she does all sorts of crazy,
all sorts of things.
Stuff.
But come down and check out some of those things out. 7:00 Cousins this Thursday.
Yeah, very cool. I will be back on Monday morning, 10 a.m. I know Mike Sasson, his show will be on tomorrow night. If you're waiting with anticipation for the shows to reach it to the podcast, they will be up within the next day or so. We finally have a place where we can kind of set up our computer and get some of our editing work done. So stay tuned for all of that. We have local music up next. You're listening to Pittsburgh's voice for local music, The River's Edge.